All right, so I'm here with Zach Jaworski, and
Yeah,
we're about to talk some shit about stuff. How you doing, man? Thanks for coming on.
I'm doing well, Paul. It is. Thank you for having me, man. It's great to be on here with you and chatting with you. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I did a podcast in general, so this is cool to get it going again. And we're starting to write some tunes together, and I think that's super cool. Um, Dude, you are a hell of a drummer, and you must have like a perfect setup because that sounds great. And you didn't use any triggers, did you? That sounds like really clean hits, and especially the kick. That was great, man. That was
Dude,
really good shit.
thank you so much. I'm so happy to be working with you, and I'm happy to see you're still doing this because the last one I heard was with Caraway or Tucker, and I absolutely loved it and the cast you did with him. So thank you again for having me on, dude.
Oh,
But yeah, I'm stoked to be like finally musically working with you. Like,
same,
you are
honestly,
such a
because I felt
talented
like
dude.
I skipped over the punk. Like when I met you, I was like, I'm so over fucking being in like punk shit. And plus, you're always like with a million projects. So I was never like, let's jam. So I'm glad it finally came around, the Ben, because you were in my production classes too and shit, man. Like, so you've been around like since I've been at Temple at like 2016, kind of just like in the background of these millions of Philly characters that like I've never been able to jam with or collaborate with, and so this is just super cool that my mic is fucking up. But
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
yeah.
Like I've known you since those classes we had. I don't even know what classes they were at this point. Like Temple is all a blur to me, but
I think it was like the first fucking like recording class. It was like, here's how a microphone is. Remember to put it on the stand first.
and
It's
I'm
like,
guessing
yeah.
at that point me and you were probably in the same boat where we were like, yeah, we've been recording. Like I want to record some shit. Like
Yeah.
let's get to it,
Like you
guys.
were didn't you drum in the class? I'm pretty sure.
Oh shit. Yeah, I forgot. We actually like recorded a song and I played drums for that. Did you? I don't think did you play any instruments for that track or no? Because at
I
that point I didn't know you were like a multi-instrumentalist producer. Like,
I think you did drums for another track and I did drums for another track.
oh,
Like
okay,
there was groups or some shit
right.
to like do a song. And I keep hearing that song randomly in my life and I'm like, this is terrible. Why do I know this though? And it's like this fucking sappy ass indie tune of just like, I can't even remember it now, but if I hear it I'm like, that's it. That
Oh
fucking
yeah,
Capri Sun ass.
we played like the Strokes or some shit in that class. Like,
Oh man.
but yeah, dude, it's been a long time coming. I'm stoked to be here with you and be making music with you. I mean, yeah, I have a pretty cool setup now at my crib. I'm still with my parents, but thankfully they have allowed me to take over the entire basement and make it my own studio. And like,
Dream.
yeah, it's the best, man. And I have such a good setup. I can't wait till we can hang out more and like show off each other's studios because I would love to actually jam in person when we can, man.
Oh, for sure, totally. Like, and honestly, like, I feel like there's no shame in being at your parents' house, fucking crushing it. Like, that's a weird, like, dream of mine to still be in. Like, I used to, like, when I came back from Temple, I only had like a small space at my parents when I was there for only a few months, which sucked. It sucked being at my parents. But uh, if I had a basement, like a full basement or some shit, or like my parents were always talking about fixing up the attic. That was always like, yo, that would be sick. I wouldn't mind not paying rent and dealing with you guys because it's very even. It's like
Yeah.
not paying rent, cool. Dealing with your parents every day.
Yes,
No,
it is tough. And like, especially like me and you being in Philly, living on your own and sort of creating that space for yourself, it's hard to go back to that and
dude, yeah,
create
it's
it again
really
for
hard.
you. And that reminds me of a memory too. Like when I thought you were like the coolest dude and like because I saw your setup finally, and it was when I think you recorded Derek's Philly Green song, like years ago, I think, and you were living in Carden, I believe.
Yeah.
And like came over with Derek, I think, like to see your setup, and I thought it was like the most beautiful space ever, like the high ceilings of Carden, like all your mics and
Dude.
instruments. I was like, this is my dream. Like that is where I want to be right now.
That was a beautiful space.
Great room.
But biggest but though, it's next to the railroad tracks.
Oh,
you can
true.
go back to some of my like recordings, and like if you go to like I Miss You, even like the real intimate stuff, you hear that buzz. It's on everything. And I've tried, like I go back to like tunes, I'm like, why didn't I release this? And I'm like going through all the stems and pieces. I'm like, oh, there's a whole train on it of just like no
Yeah.
matter what I did, like I tried everything, like standing on pillows, like virtually floating, like it was ridiculous. Like nothing.
Yeah, the train
nothing
just
worked.
reverbed through that big ass ceiling.
It was just like the electricity wires was fucking up
Oh.
all the feedback and stuff
Right.
like that.
True,
I couldn't
true.
even tell you what was actually going on, but it was a nightmare in that sense. But
Yeah.
the space was gorgeous, and I could get some real good ideas out. But everything has a monkey's paw to it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of like the suburb basement that I have right now. Like that you're not gonna hear any highway or anything, no electric
That's
issues.
what I'm saying. Like, there is a fucking beauty
Yeah.
of, like, a parent's house. Because it's like, you got to be like, Mom, please don't blend anything. Like, okay. And, like, that's it, really. You got to worry about.
Do your thing, honey.
It's really sick. Yeah, it's like, they're loud, but it's good he's home.
Yeah, he's safe. He's okay.
He's not on the streets.
Yeah, that's too true. But it is a blessing, though. Honestly, like to have supportive parents too. I don't know
I was about to say,
what that
that's a
situation is
great
like for you, but
Segue. Oh, yeah, my parents have always been super supportive.
that's amazing, dude.
And I feel like that's super. That helps so much. That helps everything to have a great home life and people that like give a shit about what you're doing. I mean, they don't really give a shit about what I'm doing, but they know that music and recording is like what I do and it's my job. And they're like, yeah, that's cool. Like, oh, do you want any gadgets for your birthday or anything?
Yeah.
Like, they don't really do that anymore.
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
they would do that for a while, and that shit was awesome. And like, or like getting me a new drum set growing up, and new guitar here and there, being in high school. Like, you can't get fucking replace that. That's such a, because you're encouraged by the most important people in your life at the moment, and they don't give a shit now. I'm like, yo, my tape sold out. They're like, that's great. So put the bed like this so we can get the sheet on. It's like, okay, Mom.
Dude, exactly. It's like so important to have that support, I think. Like even in minimal ways, like just words of encouragement and this, that financial support is huge too. Like I know even some of the guys I'm looking up to now, like a few different producers who are at the level of like having that whole entire space and studio are getting loans from their parents still, and like instead of going through a bank, and I see that, and it's it's cool to see it at every level, and that it sucks that there are people who don't have that support out there, man. Like that's terrible.
Yeah.
But like I'm super thankful to have that. And
That's a great segue for me to ask you, like musical beginnings. Like, is your family? I ask this to everyone on the show. Like, is your family a musical in any way, or like, is like how did you get into being? I'm gonna play an instrument. Like, be like, oh, this song is tight as fuck, or whatever. Like, how did that happen for you?
I think about that a lot in my life now, like being a young adult and looking back. I didn't really have much. Like my parents didn't really do anything in terms of inspiring me to play an instrument. But I will say they influenced my music taste at a young age, which was really cool. And those punk roots definitely come from my dad playing Dookie in the Car by Green Day all the time and staring at the CD and like loving the cover art and
There's a lot to look at.
Yeah, and same with like
Yeah.
Take Off Your Pants and Jacket too. Like I just remember that playing all the time in the car when we were really young. So that was definitely like the start of my music taste in a lot of ways. But in
Damn,
terms
your
of
dad's into like punk shit like that. That's cool.
yeah, he definitely is more into like the Johnny Cash, Led Zeppelin type of vibes nowadays. Going back to that kind of stuff. He hasn't listened to Green Day in a while, but also Green Day has changed a lot too, you know.
Oh yeah.
But in terms of like playing music, I didn't start really until probably my freshman year of high school. And I really, really wish I got into playing sooner because I see some cats who are just like, you know, those viral videos of these like 1-year-old drummers like ripping it to Slipknot or something. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, imagine.
It's always chop suey though.
Yeah,
Come on, don't
always,
even.
yes.
It's
yeah.
always chop suey.
It's always chop suey, dude. And they just rip it like better than I could, and it's just crazy. But it's also inspiring in the same way, like to be better now. But my buddy Shane Rojas, one of my best friends to this day, in freshman year or the summer after freshman year, was like, I want to start a band. And I had just always been attracted to the drums in a weird way. I remember having a little baby drum set when I was a kid, and I like just punched through the drum heads, didn't even play it. But I remember just seeing that image of the drum set. Maybe that influenced it. But yeah, we started a terrible band in high school, but we still are friends to this day. And he is just an incredible musician, and we still bounce ideas off of each other and stuff. But
That's sick.
yeah,
That's great.
that was definitely the start of it.
I chose drums because I was a lazy kid, and like, I chose everything lazy. But I was like, didn't know that was a harder choice in some ways. Like, I want to be the goalie for soccer. They don't run around. Like, you have all the responsibility, bro. I couldn't even punt the fucking thing. But I'm like, I'm not running. That's fine. So like, I'm like, drums. You're sitting in it. That's my instinct. And then, oh man, I'm fucking
I didn't know that
sweating.
was your first instrument.
Oh yeah, I started in like 6th grade.
Damn.
Of like, my brother was like an amazing metal guitarist, and I'm just like, well, fuck, I gotta pick up something. Like, I gotta be the drummer or something. And then I'm like, they don't stand as great. Do it. And I played death metal in like middle school with high schoolers. Like, we covered Death Clock and shit.
Wow.
And I picked up drums really fast. And then, yeah, high school came and we started doing like marching band stuff. Like, and that got like my chops. Like, and the cool part was my drum teacher loved like any music. Like, I'd be like, can you teach me how to play There Is from a Boxcar Racer? He's like, oh, Travis is amazing. Yeah. And like, showed me
yes.
it, knew it already.
Oh my God.
And was like, yeah, like Travis did this and that and the other thing. He was fucking military drummer, basically. Like, and said all this shit about him. I'm like, who are you? And then I'm like, the next week, can you show me this Amir beat that's like, he's like, oh yeah, and he does it with one fucking foot. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
who are you?
Beast.
It's just like fucking, I just had like really good teachers in my life. But then the drugs came in, and I kind of like slowed down on one instrument, and I was like, I can try other things.
Yeah.
Picked up guitar and synths, and it was just there. I kind of left drums in the dust a bit. Like, I'm definitely not as good as I was, but I do envy people like you that just like kept with this single instrument. And like, I'm sure you can fuck around with other stuff too, but like, you rip it on drums, and it shows. You play them all the fucking time, and I'm just like, God damn it! Like, I can barely follow a metronome anymore. It's just hard, dude. Like,
I
I'm trying to
really
get my kicks
appreciate
back.
that, but please know that it is totally the same way. Like, the other way around. Like, I desire the do you, and I guess only part of you might wish this, but like, would you prefer to be good at a lot of instruments or like a master at one instrument? Like, I think about that a lot. What do you think?
Definitely good at a lot, which is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, and you are great at a lot. which is cool as fuck. Like, I desire that so much in my head, but I don't put forth the effort because, like, part of me feels like I'm not good enough at this. Like, I still have room to improve, but you could always argue there's room to improve, so why not start, like, a new instrument today, you know what I mean? But I do love and appreciate the drums more than anything. Like, I love putting in the time and effort and seeing that progression and, like, all that shit, but also, like, I want to be good at other instruments too. I don't know, it's hard.
I mean, I feel as someone who started at drums and moved to other things, it was so crucial that I learned about drums and timing and rhythms and that in betweenness, like, and it applies like everywhere in music. Like, also like 90% of the shit I write, whether it be or some indie tune, there's drums there, you know, and you gotta fucking write that if you're gonna be a one man thing. But I think the way it made me easy to try these new things and sound like a fucking idiot on the piano and sound like an idiot on this instrument and sound like a dumbass singing this style is because I changed my alias when I would do it. I'm like, this is the first release as Aura Lind. It's gonna sound like shit or whatever. Like, this is the first release as Wave Complex. It's gonna be dinky and I'm not gonna know how to move the synths in a cool way or drop something or have a break. Like, it's just gonna be that. The next time I'll try it, you know, because I'm learning it right now.
Right.
And like, I've that's why I do this, because like I did that for a while as like crossing bridges, as like try a million fucking styles under one thing, and then that discography just got huge, and it's like I couldn't even describe crossing bridges to someone. They're like,
Right.
what's the project like? I'm like, it's like electronic, it's like jazzy, but then there's like some ambient releases, and then there's like some really big concept releases and some acoustic shit. It's like, fuck, what do I do? Why did I do this?
Right.
And I just don't want to box myself in with a name and get music lost. I just feel like when it's released, I can move on.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing.
Yeah, I think that's so cool to like be able to sort of be like, this is it, I'm putting this out, and like whatever it is, that'll be it. Oftentimes I find myself going back to old stuff and I want to like fix things, but I'm just like, I gotta leave it the way it is. Like, I guess it's just as your skills progress in production, you want to apply that to old stuff, but you can just apply that to new stuff at the end of the day, you know?
Don't get me wrong, I do that all the time.
I was
Like,
gonna ask you
literally.
if you do that or not.
I have some shit coming out next week, 2 weeks from now, that were written at like the Cardin setup.
Yeah.
And I redid some of the vocals, like I totally remixed it and used all like my better plugins and whatnot. And it just came out really tight, at least tighter than it was. And I'm just kind of throwing it out there. Like, there's not a lot of effort going into the release. I'm not even sending it out to labels and stuff. And so it's just fucking, I'm getting this out here and off of my hard drive so I can say it's out there and done and move on to the next one, because I do feel clogged up having it.
Right.
Like, having all these ideas, I feel guilty working on more shit when it's just like, ugh, what a mess in this folder. Like, I don't even want to be this project right now or ever, because there's all these ideas that I care about and want to release, but they're just not hitting what I want it to be, or I'm too scared to finalize it because
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck it up in the last fucking knob turns and no one's gonna like it. It's gonna be muddy as fuck, and you know, or whatever. And it's like all this effort and emotion for no reason.
That's exactly what I thought when I was mixing the drums for you. I was like, fuck, like this dude is so good. Like, I hope this doesn't sound like shit when he adds it in. I was like, oh. But
No,
I'm stoked
man.
how it came out though, man.
I love how it came out. I was like, shit, dog. This is like,
We gotta
I feel
keep
like
doing
an
shit.
idiot for buying Easy Drummer and shit like that. Perfect drums or whatever. Like, I used that on another song and it kind of worked for like,
Oh yeah.
but fuck, I can't. I can't do this shit anymore, man. So I'm really glad we're hooking up, and I might send you other stuff, not punk, pop punk.
Yeah, yeah, I'm all about it. Like, I love, that's really just all life has been recently, especially with quarantine and shit. Like, just trying to collab with my friends and do stuff that I guess wouldn't otherwise do, or just stuff
Yeah,
that I have been wanting
tell
to
me
do.
about some of those collabs. Who I know you've been working with a few people, so tell me about them.
I guess most recently, well, I play drums for Twin Beds. That's kind of the main
I was getting
crew
the
I've
Twin
been with.
Beds.
Yeah, that's kind
Yeah.
of the boys, John and Jack. And sadly, Derek's down in Virginia right now. But he's doing
Yeah, I
his
mean,
thing down there, enjoying his time while he can.
well, fuck it. Let's talk about Twin Beds.
Fuck
How
it.
did that start?
I have a lot to thank Temple for, although there was a lot of dumb shit that happened at Temple.
Oh, for sure.
But like, I definitely have a lot to thank them for. And my best friend Shaylin, we graduated from the same high school. She went to Temple. I saw her a cappella group perform there. And at the time, I didn't know John Clark was in it as well, that group, who's the guitarist and vocalist of Twin Beds. But I saw them perform, thought it was the coolest shit ever, toured at Temple, wanted to be in it. Shaylin, I sounded like shit during the audition to be in low-key a cappella, but Shaylin got me in because she's the homie. And also, I wanted to beatbox anyway, but they had me sing during the audition. Not that I can't sing, but I was just nervous and like I
Dude,
sang
acapella's
Hallelujah.
fucking hard.
It's hard as
Oh,
hell,
what?
dude. I was like, fuck,
That's
why did I
hard.
sing this? This is awful.
Tough one.
God. Yeah, it was
You're making
terrible.
my voice quiver right now just thinking about it. Oh
I'm
my
pretty sure I
God.
switched keys like mid audition. It was awful, dude.
I'd be lucky if I wasn't a key.
But weirdly, I got involved with WHIP, the radio station, like as I started going through Temple, and that's while I was in a cappella. And so John Clark, who was, in low key, I knew he did solo music, so I had him on the radio to play a little solo set acoustically, and randomly I was just interviewing him, and he was like, I do need a drummer, I'm looking for that for a band. And I was like, oh, I play drums. My high school band is over, I'm out of high school, so if you want to play anything. And at that point I haven't really met anyone that I was feeling the vibe of, starting a band with so far. So I met up with him and Jack in John's basement. Shout out to all the moms out there who let us use basements to practice. But John's mom is amazing and let us practice down there. And not that it was an instant click, but their songs like captivated me. I loved John's lyrics and his songwriting, and Jack's a killer guitarist and bassist. And like, yeah, at that point they had been looking for a drummer for a little bit, so I just hopped on in. They had some stuff recorded before, but they also let me record the first like ever Twin Bed stuff that sounds terrible, that you can't find anywhere now because it sounds so bad. But it was just great. Like, I love those boys. They let me into their band and let me record some shit, and now we're here recording some
That's
shit.
awesome.
Still playing.
So tell me about the Ripe Fruit Records, right? Is that it? Rip Fruit Records?
Yeah.
What's up with that? What is that?
I guess I'm still trying to figure that out. I mean, I know what I want it to become in the future. And that's sort of like a production studio. But yeah, before, I guess when we were in classes and stuff, I was thinking about this kind of business that I was thinking about starting in the future, which at one point was more Jaws recording because of Jaworski, and I thought that was kind of cool, but it's a little kind of wacky.
That's kind of cool, though.
It could be. There's potential, but I feel like it wasn't as catchy as it could be. But
Be like Z Jaws production.
yeah, yes, it could. Either way, my mom was. I was thinking about changing the name when I was, going through Temple, and it came to my master's degree. I had to do a project, and I sort of wanted to focus it as a tipping point of like, this is the launch of my business idea. But I wanted the name to be catchier than Jaws Recordings, and my mom suggested Ripe Fruit Records, which I liked a lot because you got like the two R's and stuff. It sounds a little bit more catchy. I
Yeah.
don't. That's probably dumb, and no one would think about it, but I just like kind of like the imagery of fruit too. I mean, you're also in a band that involves fruit.
Bro, I can't tell you how like we think we started like a invisible trend because like as soon as we existed and then like kind of stopped existing for a sec because we just got busy and we couldn't really do active people eating fruit shit as much as we were doing it. I saw so many fruit things in the fucking scene
Yes.
or whatever the fuck. Everyone's posting some single that's like fruit or like orange, and it's like, yeah, we get it. Okay, fucking fruit. Like, yeah. So I'm kind of glad like we stepped back for a second.
It's so true. Like even this band, I think Standards. Like I don't know if you know them. They're a good band though. Fucking great drummer Forrest, but all of their imagery involves fruit, and it just like reminded me of you guys. People eating fruit is like I
Yeah.
could just see all these covers being them. It's like, yeah, I love your guys' sound too. That's a great crew, and you are the
Yeah.
drummer of that, right?
No, that's not like a drum thing.
Oh
I'm
wait,
like
no,
the
that's the duo, right?
trio.
Trio,
Kind
yeah.
of. It might be a duo soon, or I don't know. We don't really don't know what's going on with
Yeah.
it. We're gonna talk about it soon, and hopefully start releasing music again. But yeah, no, I just produce the tunes for it, like most of the music in it, like the beats, the synths. Like there's times where like I just like have Francis and Brandon, or just Brandon in the corner scratching away of on lyrics as I'm just like pick up a bass, pick up a fucking thing, pick up a fucking thing. And it's just like this people eating fruit crazy track. Like Triple Vision was written in like 3 hours.
Wow.
And, like lyrics and everything. We were just like there and just like, let's go, let's go, let's go. For
You
like
guys
no
are
reason.
nuts.
We were just like, that's how we work. It's like fast as fuck.
Yeah.
So, it's a really weird dynamic of a band. So
Yeah.
we're working it out. But I used to drum for Cerulean Blue with the mask and the shades.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
of course Georgie a little bit.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, man. So I think you're doing like those drum covers and shit on Instagram and stuff, right? Are you doing that on TikTok too?
Yeah, I've been trying to a little bit. I've been slacking so much. There's been so much going on with life, with my family, and like the medical side of things that I had to focus on. But I do miss posting covers. Like, I want to start that again. And I guess not going back to stuff, but like the whole ripe fruit thing. I guess a main focus in quarantine and shit like that has been, working with my buddies, and they've allowed me to either record drums for them, which has been great, like you also allowing me to record drums for your great music. Same with Caraway. I got to record drums for Tucker with that. And there's also a group, Naked Lake, from Philly, that allowed me to master their most recent tracks, and same with my buddy Dogwoods, who is John's solo project from Twin Beds. He had a song, Hughes, that he allowed me to master. So I've been busy doing kind of production side of stuff through Ripe Fruit, which has been really cool. Which has kind of replaced like the more drum covery kind of posting on YouTube and social media stuff. I guess social media for me is like I have a weird relationship with it. Like it's hard to kind of like promote yourself to an empty void, or a seemingly empty void sometimes. Like, I love interacting with people sometimes and seeing people's new stuff and all that, but sometimes just like I want to focus just on like the production side of it, the getting better with my chops, and not focusing on like I need to post this today, and like I don't know. Sometimes I get lost with that. I don't know if you have any issues with social media and that kind of relationship with it, but
I mean, 1,000,000%. But like I'm moving soon, and I'll have a different space and different environment. So I'm gonna try and be a lot more social on like TikTok at least.
Yeah.
And maybe like Twitch stream some shit. I'm thinking about streaming playlist submissions and being
Ooh.
brutally honest.
Yeah.
Being like just like no to people. Like I don't give a fuck who would be watching. Like people who would be submitting their music definitely wouldn't be watching. I would just be going through it trying to be funny, but like not disrespectful, because like I get that like people write ridiculous ass music and because they have the idea to write this ridiculous ass song, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But there's just some tracks that are like, dude, what are you thinking to finish this? This is unbelievable. So yeah, I'm trying to like be a more of like a social man
Yeah.
with this fucking podcast and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this is very faceless, you know. It's very, they're just hearing my voice. I'm not promoting it super crazy, but it's for fun, and some people listen. But the thing is, like, I do feel that weird strain of like it's just a fucking void. Because I also like the thing that is my bread and butter is the screens. You know, like
Yeah.
like maybe me touching my keyboards and my boot bops a little bit, but I would really have to make it a show for you to be like, wow. Because I'm the guy that's like, you just have a Volca setup. What is the video here? Or like, you just have a synth. What is the video, Paul? And so like, I hate videos of people like showing their beat and like they're on their cell phone from their screen and shit. And it's just like,
Yeah.
dude, like it makes me want to never listen to your music, because that just takes the magic out of it. And so none of that hits me of like, oh, I wouldn't want to do that myself. I'm gonna film myself do all this shit to get people interested in me. So I really don't know what to do. But you have a cool fucking thing that I think you could market. Like you could be that drum dude, like just keep banging into the void of like doing these covers, like do the Little Nas song, like come on, like
Yeah.
some fucking crazy drum cover to that would be monstrositous, dog. That would be amazing. And then like you be the drum guy that people would hit you up to do drum covers. Like that's a fucking thing. Like if I knew that you were just like, oh yeah, I can pump it out like that, we'd be talking a while ago.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that is such a, what is it? I don't want to say tool, but like it's a crazy thing to utilize of like a drummer that can just be like, yeah, I can fuck up your track and send you the stems or just a mix down in like a day. That's great. And I think you should lean into that a little more, honestly. Like I wish I had a cool video set up and for my drums and shit to do shit like that, and also the skills to do it again. But
Yeah. I appreciate
we
it a
won't
lot.
go there.
Dude, I appreciate it because I think about that too and what I should lean into. So it's good to be hearing that from someone. And I definitely have been meaning to. Like, I definitely want to lean into it. And it's cool seeing, like, going back, even just today, like before this, I just went to my channel just to see when the last video I posted was. And it is almost like 10 months ago or something like that. I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, I need to start posting more. But I saw that, like, my Mom Jeans drum cover, like, before it was like maybe 200-300 views. It was up to like 700 or 800. And I was just like, oh, people are still, like, they want to see this stuff even after I post it. Like, as a drummer, when I was younger, I was like, as I would find new music, I would just look up drum covers just to see what people would do. And I'm realizing that, like, people do that, and I need to just post these covers so that, like, traction can happen, you know? Like, as you've seen probably with your music in different ways, and, you know, sometimes traction happens, like, people see it, and, you know, you grow from that, and it's just a matter of sticking with it, I guess.
Like,
and like you
especially
said,
like a
leaning
video.
into it.
Yeah, like a video is such high content. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not a video of shapes and your beat or whatever. It's your face, your body, and you're doing something.
Right.
Like, the algorithms pick up on faces and shit and videos. Like it's a long video of a song, you know?
Yeah.
And they see a person's face, like they're gonna leave it up. It's gonna be in a backlog, like shit like that. Like when even Facebook, like when RTI used to stream to Facebook, we'd have like 20 people watching the stream, right?
Wow.
We're doing all this shit. It's going on air, yes, and a bunch of people are listening on air, but we're also streaming to Facebook, and we have like a tiny number. But then we go back a month, couple weeks, they're in the thousands of views because of backlog. Like, they're not watching it as it happens or as it drops, but they'll get to it. They'll fucking show the people that are interested in your stuff, that are watching your stuff, your new stuff.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta fight the beast and then deal with it. I don't fucking know.
It's tough also being like a media person right now, like you are, because we also like twin beds, like you mentioned with the live streaming. I think that is like awesome. There are a lot of good streamers out there. It does feel kind of still like a void of like, it's just so many people are hopping into that world now. It's like, fuck, it's not hopeless. It's just hard, I guess, to get seen. And I also kind of feel the same way about TikTok, I guess. But then I see people like one of their videos will just randomly get traction and like blow up. And oh my God, when I think about TikTok and drummers, and like, I guess it's such a toxic thing to compare yourself to people, which is why I always hop on and off social media and like get off of it for weeks at a time, because I find myself doing that too much. But with TikTok, I see the most popular drummer on there is, I don't even remember his name, like Austin or something, Austin Drums. Like, he'll play 5 seconds of a song, like barely get into the groove. Like, he's just going like boom, boom on the toms pretty much, but he dumps like a gallon of paint on the toms before he hits them. Oh. And he like he will just like get a request for a certain color of neon paint to use, and like people just love the visual of it, and that like blows my mind. Like, no offense to him, but he's not doing anything good on the drums. Like, anyone could just hit it like the way he's hitting it, but it just involves a beautiful visual, and somehow he's captivated this audience of people, dude. It's crazy. Like, I know that we can do the same.
Effort shit on there
yeah,
too.
There is. I know that we can do it. I follow
this one guy. He hits shit with a hammer, and he's like, "That's not good."
I've seen that guy, dude.
And he hits it with the other side. He's like, "You probably shouldn't do that." And I'm like, "That's a banger right there. That's my fucking shit. That's content.
Quality content."
I'm over here spending all day on this fucking music video with my buddy, spending like bringing all of his cameras to make this music video about jerking off. And we got a couple comments that are like, "Sick, dude. Why do I like this?" It's like, fucking. How do I?
Dude, I've seen videos like that on TikTok too, where it's like this person is showing off the art progress of a painting, and they're like, "I see dance videos that took 60 seconds to make that get 10 million likes, and I put 24 hours into this," and the first comment with the most likes is like, "Shut the fuck up, this isn't good." Like, yeah. And it's like, God damn it, I put so much work into this. And
like, some of them are funny. Like,
yeah, they're funny as fuck.
Or like, there's this guy where it's like, spend 3 years learning how to produce own music, and then he's like, spend thousands of dollars learning how to produce and make own music video movie to go with the album. It's like 47 views on YouTube or some shit. It's like, yeah, dude, that's fucking how it is.
Literally.
Like, spend all your time, like, that would be me, like, being like, write 44 track album in high school. No one listens to it ever, thinks you're weird for writing such an album. It's like, okay, I'll just stop.
Is that when you started crossing bridges? Like the release of that stuff? Or were you releasing under another name then?
That was Crossing Bridges.
Yeah.
That was like such a big project for a long time. It took like 2015, 2014 for me to like, well, like my band was breaking up. Like, my first band, Overfield, that was like all of my time, all of my effort, everything. Like, learning how to produce was for that band. Like, learning how to get shows, learning what shows were worthless, learning what bands you shouldn't play with, learning what venues you shouldn't play at. Like, all learned with that band, and like also learning what bandmates you shouldn't have. Not to throw shade, but fuck, did I do some work?
Yeah.
And so when that ended, I was like, I have all this idea and energy to write music, like, and a lot of shit was going on in my life too. So I had a lot of time on my hands, and so I wrote just the Architects music, and that was just like, I don't even know what I'm trying to write. Angels and Airwaves meets real estate for some reason.
Yeah.
And it was weird, man. And so I have some B-sides out as that. But as I was doing that, I was writing I Miss You stuff that I didn't release for like 3 years that I thought was going to be Crossing Bridges. I was also writing something that was going to be that I thought was going to be Crossing Bridges and turned out to be my project Echo Aura, because that was like Tycho stuff. And it was going to be like this Sun and Moon album for Crossing Bridges, where it was like Tycho and then this like I Miss You styled stuff before I Miss You existed.
Yeah.
And so it was just all these different ideas I was writing these full releases for, and just not doing shit with them.
Yeah.
Until I started like writing some hot beats. I'm like, I have to put this out. I sampled Trailer Park Boys, just like a second. It was like my first time sampling something. I even wrote Vaporwave that year, like my first Vaporwave release that I put out as Lazuli Yellow last year. That year. So it was just so much shit at once. And so that's when Express Window started, Forest Kids started.
Yeah.
It was this big album me and these two other friends of mine was going to do. We were going to be like Boards of Canada. That's like, they're a duo. And I was like, we could be a trio of an electronic fucking band. Like we could play live. We could have real drums in there and just hop off instruments.
Yeah.
Like I was planning a super group.
Yeah.
It was going to be amazing. And then they just wouldn't, just didn't give a fuck. You know, they wouldn't have gotten done if I didn't finish the album and make other songs and just put it together. Like they did maybe 5% each.
Yeah,
and it was just a huge bummer at the time. And so all that bummer just turned into, I'm gonna make shit, bruh.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's how
that's
it
like,
is.
it's tough when you have this like vision and people are like barely hype about it. It's like, it's cool to have support and people willing to play it, but they're just like, yeah, you just write the parts, like come up with everything. Like that's your brainchild and you fucking have the passion for it and people just aren't sharing it.
Or like they were into it for like a day.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. And you have it all in your head of how they're gonna help and do this and play their part.
Right.
And then they just don't. And you're like,
Fuck.
yeah. So, what would you say your worst gig was? Because you play a lot of shows. And I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear that.
Oh man, bro, that's such a good question. I'm sure you have good stories too. In October of 2019, it's crazy that was like over a year ago now. But fuck, dude.
Yeah,
2019 was really, really fun, the end of it, because that was Twin Bed's first cross-country tour. So we went up through the East Coast, went through Canada, played some of the best shows ever in Canada that we had, came down through the Midwest, stayed with our friends in the Midwest, and like had such a good time. And just that Midwest section was some of the weirdest shows that we've ever played. Like some of the best and the weirdest. It's hard to call it the worst show because of how good of a memory it is, but it was fucking terrible in so many ways. Like, it was in Provo, Utah.
Oh.
And a lot of people already like would be like, why the fuck would you play in Provo? But
How do you even get a gig in Utah?
dude, John is a king for all the gigs that he. And I was going to mention also when you were mentioning how hard it was, like that learning process of going through, like learning, like who to play with, what shows to get, who not, like, oh my God, that's such like a process to learn that. And John handled a lot of that for Twin Beds and finding shows and meeting people. And whenever we would play a show with someone we liked, even if it was a little bit, and they were maybe from out of state or another city, we would, get their contact and potentially have like a show there. But we knew guys in that area actually, and Yeah, we got this weird show and we pulled up in Utah. It was one of the prettiest shows ever. Like surrounding it was just mountains, like beautiful landscapes. And that was a lot of the Midwest, even though there was 5 people at the show sometimes. Like we're these just Philly boys going to the Midwest, trying our best.
Having
But
some Philly shows out in
yeah,
classic 5 people in the audience. Is that the other band? That is.
yeah. Dude, exactly. And weirdly, at this show, there were a good amount of people, but all for the wrong reasons. Like, God, this cover band played of guys who were all over 50. And that's not inherently a bad thing, but they were god-awful players. The only good player was the nephew of the vocalist, who was like 15, who just shredded. Like, even when they were out of time, wrong key, whatever it may have been, playing the wrong part, he was just shredding, like captivating us. But the show ends. Oh, and after they played, there was a duo that was very much trying to be 21 Pilots, like drummer plus vocalist with a box that changed his voice a little bit. And he sometimes played like a couple notes on the guitar. Like very weird. Him like screaming a lot and running around and like getting on the ground while this drummer's just like going crazy on the crash. Weird vibe. And we finished off the show. There's a good amount of people there. We were surprised. Not that the audience was like looking at us too much. We finished the set and all of a sudden a woman gets on stage and just starts singing happy birthday to like a 3-year-old, and it turns into a child's birthday party after we get done playing. They bring out
like
cake.
You're still on stage, basically.
Yeah, like we're packing up our stuff and they're singing happy birthday to a 3-year-old. We're like, what is going on, dude?
Oh, that is weird.
It was just so weird. And also when we got there, like that 50-year-old cover band was like, "Oh, you're the Philly boys, bunch of libs, huh?" It's just like that kind of vibe with us. Like right off the bat, it was like, "Oh God, this is gonna be weird."
Oh man,
coming from Lib City, huh? Like, oh,
that's fucked.
It's so weird. Like just such a weird environment.
Oh man, that's a fun story though, for sure. Like I'm trying to think. Like all my like adult show stories are like either pretty good or like they just have like a funny story to them of like my friend like Kevin Brusho in the bushes drunk off his ass screaming leave me, and it's like we're like come on, we gotta go. Like just like moments like that exist. Definitely got like kind of stopped mid set in Ohio when we were playing as Larry Notter. Yeah, because we were too loud or some shit. And it's like, so like they're like talking like as like we're singing, you know. And
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
we just like unplugged and left, and then Kendall Sharp just started fucking screaming like "fuck you" at everyone, and I'm just like, we gotta go before Kendall gets into a bar fight. It was fucked. It was like that was just like a sad gig. But we used to have this band. Do you remember Atom shows? Like Atom, they were like the pay for play shows and stuff.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, we did a couple of those.
Oh, yeah.
When we first were gigging, like literally the first shows, and fucking this one band played, and they must have bought all their tickets because they like sold out or whatever, and played like for 55 minutes of their like prog metal bullshit, and they're like older dudes, and like the first time we encountered them, they played for too long and it was awful. We're just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, with this band playing for like an hour long. It's like 10:30 at this point at this shitty bar, and we're all underage and we can't even have fun at the bar.
Yeah.
And fucking we play another show at Voltage Lounge with the same company like a couple weeks later, and we see we think we see one of the dudes in that band walk by the door, and we're like, wouldn't it be funny if that band played here? Oh, they're so terrible. And then they walked in with their gear, and we're like, no!
Oh my god, dude.
I'll always remember that. I'm just like, huh, that was funny. But hope that's not gonna happen. Oh man, that was such a TV moment.
Dude, that pay to play story, me, my buddy Shane Rojas, and our terrible high school band had a pay to play show at the Troc, and it's so weird, dude. We have a lot of probably similar stories like this. We played with a prog metal group, like,
dude,
a lot of screaming. Do you remember their name?
Yes.
What was
it? Give me a second.
Yeah.
Prison. I remember it was like "Heroes Never Die" was like one of their songs and stuff.
Holy shit, dude!
Oh man,
it's gotta be the same people because they sold out. Like they got the headline or whatever,
but no one was there.
Yes, no one. Like,
yeah,
dude, that's crazy.
I'm gonna text my friend right now, see if we can get the answer before the show's over.
One thing I remember was
the
vocalist or whatever. We were backstage or something, and he pulls out like 10 packets of honey, like from like a fast food place or something. Like these little fucking plastic packets of honey, and he was like, "This is my secret for being a good vocalist." And between songs, he would take a shot of honey in a packet. It was so gross. I was like, "What? Ew, your throat's just coated in sugar as you're singing." Like,
that's disgusting. No, the man, he got back to Corners of Sanctuary.
Dude, that sounds exactly like it. Yeah,
it's gotta be them.
It's gotta be. That's so fucking funny, dog.
Oh man, fucking A. Yeah, Corners of Sanctuary. Like they had a song that were like Sanctuary, Sanctuary, Sanctuary. Dude, fucking dude. Oh man, if I was shit faced at the time, I would be into them. Now, if I saw them again, I would be so into it for 5 minutes, and then I'd be over it.
Yeah, I would like headbang and get hyped for one song, and
yeah, I'd be like, "This is sick," and it's like, "You got how long left? I'm gonna be outside and start smoking cigarettes again." Like, oh my god,
that's fucking hilarious.
That's amazing. Oh my god, I'm so glad. But fucking shout out to Antonio Nicosia for getting back to me with that.
Yeah, a huge shout out.
Yo, did you ever play Chaplin's back in the day?
I don't think so. No.
Up in Spring City?
Nah.
That place was cool. That had some cool vibes there. That was like Charlie Chaplin's old theater or whatever the fuck.
That's cool as fuck. I will say also really a shout out to Tucker because for the big tour, he was Twin Bed's like driver, like out for the whole tour pretty much. And
oh yeah, that's right. He told me about that.
And one of the funniest fucking stories that doesn't involve a show but was on tour was when we slept in so many Walmart parking lots, but there was this one that we slept in where Tucker pulled out his hammock for the night, and we were in the parking lot, and he tied it between 2 trees in the parking lot and slept there the whole night in his hammock. But at like 6:30 or 7, one of the workers came out and saw that he was hammocking in the parking lot and was like, "You guys gotta get out of here. Like, we can't be having people walking in and seeing a hammock."
Oh my god.
Shout out to Tucker.
Yo, at least it wasn't like a dickhead cop or some shit. That's dope.
Yeah, they were cool about it, but I feel bad, Tucker. We probably went to sleep at like 2, and he got woken up at like 6 in a hammock.
Damn. What are you gonna do? That's what you get for picking a hammock.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Fucking legend. Definitely. Such a guy.
Such a campy boy.
I'm trying to write more tunes with him soon. Some boom bap shit again, you know.
Yes, I loved that crossover too. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it fits. I really tried to capture his like the Caraway vibe into a lo-fi-ish EP. You know, like what would that sound like if you?
Yes. I love that shit, dude. I think it sounds sick. I hope you guys do more stuff together.
What do you got coming down the pipes? You just released that song "Sorry for Party Rockin'," right?
Yeah, we just dropped that little EP, which I was stoked about because it was the first kind of fully produced by Ripe Fruit Records project. Shout
Fuck
out to
yeah.
Ole Sport and Philly Green for being a part of that. That was a cool kind of experiment of mine
Word.
to it was cool being able to record all the Twin Beds Tory stuff and produce that from the studio down here. And also interesting kind of getting other people's tracks and being able to produce and mess with them, because that's a challenge in its own way, getting tracks that aren't the best, but you got to make it work.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
Damn,
stoked
dude.
about that release, and hopefully got more releases coming down the way and more collabs with you, hopefully.
Yeah, 100%. I'm debating on what to call the band. Thinking like 420. I think might be funny.
I feel like that's perfect, honestly.
Cause it kind of reminds me of like F-Zero, like the fucking whatever it's called, the Captain Falcon car, So I don't know. I like it. It's silly. It's right on the nose. It's
Yeah.
exactly what I want it to be.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah,
this
I
was
feel like that'd
definitely
be
like
sick.
we. All right. So anyone not guessing, me and Zach are writing some pop punk tunes for funsies.
Yes.
And they're coming out sick. We have one right now that's like kind of like emotional, very like always type vibe. Like definitely like that's like the whole thing. Like this was like a experiment like I've been doing lately of like, oh, I love this album, or like I love this sound from this band, like, and I'm trying to like reproduce these sounds as close as I can, because I feel like it's easy as fuck anymore to sit down and be like, I'm gonna write what I want to write, or just write whatever comes. Like, well, I feel like a lot of people have trouble with that, and I understand that, but like, I really don't. In fact, I have trouble writing too much music, and it's just like not a challenge anymore to write something. I'm like, oh, I want it to be like boom bappy and have a vibe, and it will, and I can do that with several genres. But like right now, I'm trying to like pick a sound, and like that's what I'm aiming for. And so, anyone who's actually listened to this podcast know I talked about fucking Blink 182 at least once on this every episode. And so I'm going for like a self-titled vibe with this project 420, and with the new Just the Architect stuff, I'm going for Real Estate's Days record.
Yes.
Like that has such a such a sound of washed outness and beautiful fucking guitar layers that I just want to try and do. Like that's such a good sound, and I feel like that's so fun to do anymore. I'm so bored writing music, man. So I appreciate you being so on par of what I was like looking for.
Dude, hell
really
yeah.
great fucking drum track, man. This is
Thank you,
so
dude.
good.
Yeah, I'm so hype about it. Your production work is crazy, and your ability to capture a specific sound is nuts. Like just hearing the bridge, like the vocal layers, I was like, I'm listening to like my favorite band from the 2000s right now. Like this is what I want to be hearing right now. It reminds me a lot of, I don't know if you're a fan of like that sort of Mom Jeans-esque sound, and like that kind of Graduating Life, or that kind of band, like Just Friends too. They're like, all these members are in like the same groups, and a couple of the members released under the pseudonym Loudmouth. You should check it out. It's like this fucking it's like this little ass EP. Like one of the songs is called fucking Dickhead, one of them is Simp, one of them is Mountain Dew Me. It's like very like shitty punky, and it's very Blink 182-esque, and
Tongue-in-cheek shit.
yeah, and I love those like cool releases that like under a pseudonym that's just very fucking like in your face kind of shit. Like
Yeah, for
I
sure.
love it.
I love. I think that's just like such a cool thing when artists mix and match, or like go under different names but continue their sound in a progressed way.
Yeah.
Like how you can see that with Blink 182 turning into Plus 44 and Angels and Airwaves.
Exactly,
And then
yeah.
literally when they come back, it's like both of those sounds together again. It's not even Blink anymore.
Yeah,
And, like,
exactly.
You can see that with Death Cab for Cutie when he did Postal Service for that second and then came back. there was like a different sound with that band immediately because
Yeah.
he worked with Dentel and like was like, oh, I'm gonna be electronic artist now, and so you can fucking hear that now in Death Cab for Cutie, and I
Yeah.
hate it. I hate it. I hate it. What is Death Cab for Cutie now? I
Yeah.
loved that fucking band, and they ruined it. And they know what they did. Chris Walla left. He was like the producer of all this shit. You heard Plans probably. That record is godly, and he made it that way.
Yeah.
And no one gives a fuck. It's bullshit.
Some
That's
of
my
their early
rant.
records are the best fucking albums ever. Like Death Cab was such a good band. And I like Postal Service too. Like
Me too. And I
that's
love
a great
Dentel.
project.
What an album. Like,
Yeah.
he should have continued that and
Yeah.
kept Death Cab this down-to-earth
Exactly.
band vibe.
Yeah.
I'm really upset how everything has I'm really upset how Rah Rah Riot progressed as well. I don't know if you know that band.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, they're not what they were. They used to be beautiful with their fucking strings and shit. And, like, they had, like, this orchestral indie vibe on top. It was like ABBA or something, man. And now they're just another pop band. They're just another electronica band. They're doing great. Good for them. I'm just so upset about it, you know?
Yeah, no hate to see people succeed in their own lanes, you know? It's just...
I just miss those sounds.
Yeah, and you
don't
know
hear those
what?
sounds.
That's what we're for at the end of the day. Like we can fill that void that we're craving, you know?
Exactly.
Let's make some Death Cab shit, dude. After
That's
some
for
Blink
fall. That's for fall. We're
Yeah.
doing Blink while it's summery and
shit. Yeah, true. Dude,
and then it'll be
yes.
all sad. and then we
Seasonal
slow it
vibes.
Down. Yeah.
I love it, dude. That's sick.
Fuck yeah. I'm very excited to keep working and sending shit your way and just, paving a path down more sing-song tunes. And let me know if you want to fucking sing or play guitar on some shit. Like, let's fucking do this, man. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to do some like shouty stuff if you ever want that in the songs.
Oh, yeah.
And also, I said it before, but like, yeah, with dumb things going on in family world, I couldn't get that one track to you back as quickly as I wanted, but like,
Do not worry about
I can bang that shit out for you. So
Appreciate
we'll be
you.
having a good time.
you sharing that stuff with me and keeping me in the loop. Because,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you gotta, I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, again, we're doing this for fun.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad everything's working great, you know?
Yeah, dude.
I'm really
stoked to be collabing.
Really happy for you and your family to be in a better spot too, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Gotta handle the family stuff, you know?
Gotta handle the fam. Gotta yell at them to get vaccines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Classic folks. All right, Bo. Well, thanks so much for coming on. I think we're going to cut it here.
Definitely, dude. I appreciate you fucking having me on here.
Dude, totally. And what can people expect next? What can we, because I'm going to put this out soon. The other episodes, I delayed a while. I'm going to put this out pretty quick. So what do you
In that case,
yeah.
expect you might actually like teased it in the beginning from the story, but I'll probably put out a drum cover within the next 2 days of that new song by Lil Nas X, because it's got that nice little Latin vibe, and I really just want to shred on that track, like just for fun.
If you do something heavy, I'll try to do some like
That's exactly what I'm doing. So I'll send you some shit if you're down for that.
Try to do like a duet thing or whatever.
Yes,
and,
exactly. Yes, and I would love to do that, dude.
I want to like have something where I like scream behind him.
Yes,
just to like give him like that, like, but like not like obviously just like if the song had it, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's such a. I love that song so much. Just to end on this, because it's fucking 2 minutes.
It's perfect.
What a song! Like,
it's the perfect package for you. Like, here's every part of the song that you can jam to and that you need, and like lyrically great. Like, it's a vibe.
I am very. I'm not I'm normally like annoyed or. Yeah, this is cool, but this is annoying. Blah 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 or whatever. Like a asshole about pop music. But
yeah.
Shit, this hits all the boxes. I'm very much into this new wave, and I hope to hear more pop music like this, honestly, because
Yeah,
it's sick.
and especially with like Silk Sonic coming out with "Leave the Door Open." Like, I don't know if you heard that song. Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak, their collab. Crazy,
Oh, I
dude.
did hear about them collabing. I
Yeah,
didn't know it
like
was
that's
coming
a
out soon.
that's a pop song with like 8 key changes in it. Like,
Fuck, I
who's seeing
gotta
that?
check that out.
Oh, you gotta after this, you gotta check it out, bro.
Oh yeah, you link me that other album and that song.
Definitely,
And,
definitely.
I got something to do today now.
Yeah,
After this.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. Might do a cover of that too next, but
Oh shit.
yeah, I
word.
appreciate you having me, homie. This has been real
And
fun.
where can people find you?
You can find me at just Zach Jaws, ZACHJAWS everywhere. YouTube,
That's
Instagram.
easy as fuck. How could you not
Zach
find
Jaws.
that? Zach Jaws.
Bang,
Come
bang.
on. You better get some boop boop boops on his phone after I drop this. Of followers, okay? You
boop.
3 people listening. Anyway. Thanks so much for coming on, man. And yeah, we'll be in contact, bro.
Yeah, bro. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right. See ya.
Peace, bro.